Sometimes there's a roster stash just glowing on the waiver wire. You gloss over it one week, and you might be lucky to get that player the following week. That player has another good game. Everybody's rushing to the waiver wire to get that player, and you're just lucky to cash in and get him. The wide receiver I'm talking about today that you probably should have took a chance on last week was Alec Pierce. He's currently rostered in 54% of leagues. That means there's still some meat on the bone here. I talked about him last week, but we got to hammer this home. There's a lot of leagues out there where he's not rostered in. He was only starting 24% of leagues, and I get it. He's a rookie. He's not the premier wide receiver on the Colts. The Colts passing offense is very speculatory right now, but the workload's there. The workload's looking good. His athleticism profile is up there as well. Last week, week 6 against the Jaguars, caught 3 balls for 49 yards and a touchdown. Getting things done one way or another. We saw an increase in his workload, 41 routes with a 70.7 route participation rate, 87 air yards, 65.4% snap share. The week before, he had a 58.9% snap share, so he's on the field more. The week prior, he also caught 8 balls for 81 yards against the Broncos on an ugly game. So things are increasing. And so far in his last 4 games, we're getting some consistency here. He's caught 18 balls, 271 yards, and 1 touchdown, 16.5% target share, a 60% route participation rate, 318 air yards. That is 79.5 air yards per game, which is very consistent and a good number, a good threshold to have there. A 33.8% share of the team's air yards. That's good. That's a good share right there. That's a good share of the workload for a young wide receiver. And he's averaging 12.8 PPR fantasy points per game on the last 4 games. You can't get much consistent in that. In PPR, he's the wide receiver 30 with 51.1 total PPR fantasy points. He's not too far off from like wide receivers like Cortland Sutton in that range. And it's just hovering right there. Just making a little bit noise, but not enough for people to clamor over him. But he's doing just enough to get himself noticed in these waiver wire articles. This is probably going to be one of the last weeks you're probably going to be able to get him if he's rostered in less than 60% of leagues next week. Consider it lucky. That might happen if he has a down week, and he's probably due considering how consistent he's been these last 4 weeks. So think of that. He's due to slump a little bit when you pick him up, but he has been consistent. He's consistently getting the ball downfield. He's consistently getting an okay target share on top of that. And he has the athleticism for this all to go together. He's 6'3", 95th percentile speed score with a 4.41 40-yard dash. And he has second-round draft capital. So this team has been looking for him to be inserted into the offense sooner than later because they paid up to get him. They want to use him as a downfield threat because that's what he was at Cincinnati. He had 17 yards per reception there. He broke out there at age 19 and owned a 21.3% target share during his collegiate days with the Bearcats. So he was their downfield threat in college, projects as a downfield threat now, and he's being a downfield threat currently in his role as a rookie. Downfield threats, they get those big spike weeks when they connect on those deep pass attempts, those deep balls. Because if you connect on 1 or 2 of those in a game, those are big yard plays, maybe even a touchdown or so, and it adds up in a game, and that gives you a spike week. He's a spike week waiting to happen, and he's giving you a little bit of consistency, which is something you want in a stash, and he's a rookie. Rookies are uncapped potential because you don't know what they are yet. You don't know if they're flops. You don't know if they're going to hit their upside soon. They're these mystery boxes that you want to have as a stash on the back of your bench. And a lot of guys on the back of your bench right now might be roster cloggers. They might be safe getting you 10 points a game, 11 points, 12, 13, 14. But really, it's a veteran. They're not helping you win your league. And the last one on your bench, you feel good. He's getting you 8 here, 11 here, But you know what? There's upside guys here on the waiver wire. you might want to stash one or two of those guys just in case. He's a good recommendation for deeper leagues. He should be rostered in all deep leagues, really. And for basic redraft leagues, a great stash, a great guy for the end of your roster because he's getting you some stable production because we're seeing 12.8 PPR points per game out of 4 weeks in a row, and he's giving you that upside because he's a deep threat who gets air yards. So there's nothing that you can't love from him. And he's a young player, so we don't know how high or how far this potential could go, especially when it comes to a big game where the game script goes his way. So there's a lot to like about Alec Pierce. And if you don't like him, you didn't drop much for him because you just dropped a roster clogger or another guy who's just sitting on the back of your bench to pick him up. And if you don't like him anymore, if he has a slump, you can always drop him and get somebody else. The next flavor of the week, that's what most of these waiver wire pickups are. They're just flavors of the week, and you're just rubbing two rocks together trying to catch a flame. But Alec Pierce could be that guy for you. Let me know in the comments below. Have you already picked him up? Are you looking into him? Is he even available in your league? Love to hear about it. But I want to thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button on the way out. It's going to help you going forward with your lineup decisions, waiver wire pickups, and everything else. I want to thank you again for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.